Hey guys, welcome back to the Be More podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Maria, and for anyone that's watching, I am at my new place.
Yeah, you missed the big reveal moment.
I know.
Sorry,
I
everybody.
really thought about waiting until you till you started recording, but I was like, let me just I don't care.
No, Maria has so much light around her. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I had to close my blinds because you wouldn't probably see me honestly if the backlight
It's
was intense.
so amazing and so wonderful. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You can just tell, even like, you can just tell guys, like, Maria's like so much more awake and ready to go because she has all this natural light coming in around her.
Yeah, I took a walk this morning, so like real, I'm a changed
What?
person right now.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know who I am right now. I'm
Amazing.
living alone. It's kind of not I like it. I'm just like wow, I have so much time.
Because no one's interrupting you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's that. Um,
Amazing.
yeah. What do you want to talk about?
We have so much stuff we were supposed to talk about. Well, because we had said
Well,
stuff for like weeks.
can I address the fact that me and our friend Monica went to Brittany's bridal shower? What was that 3 weekends ago now? Probably two,
Yeah, and
three.
the reason why we weren't here, like we didn't do an episode last weekend, is because Brittany was literally off in the woods for
Yeah,
her
living her
bachelorette
best life.
weekend.
Yeah, and there
Huh.
was a would she rather
Wait, I'd like
game.
you to know that I did remember that you wanted to do that, and I pulled it
I
out.
literally have it in front of me.
Wait.
Literally
We have to go
mad about
backwards
it.
for a second because I have to touch on my
Sure,
maid and matron of honor set up this amazing, like exactly what I wanted bachelorette weekend, guys, where
it looks very fun.
I when they said, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to go in the woods and be away from everybody else." And that's exactly what they set up. We went to the Poconos. We stayed in this tiny little lake house. I had a hot tub in the backyard, like on this little close-in porch, like
Hmm.
2 feet from the lake. It was a beautiful, wonderful weekend. But here is the issue. So it was so relaxing and so peaceful, and it was only like a day and a half, really, of like getting
Yeah,
that.
you got it was just like yeah, a weekend.
And I felt great when we came back, but I think that I confused my body because I am so, like, I didn't get enough of that because I am so tired. I also like worked and like did life for a solid, 48 hours without a lot of sleep in between because that's what my
Right.
normal life is like during my schedule. And yesterday, thank God, I was supposed to dog sit for Maria's sister's dog yesterday, guys. Thank God I didn't and my schedule cleared.
Yeah.
I
You need a day?
slept
Yeah. Yeah.
for I don't even know how many hours, and it was like 6:30 when I woke up.
God.
And it's gross and disgusting, and I just, like, my body this morning, like, I went up and started doing all my stuff and like seeing some of my clients, and I really think that I like teasered my body at like getting a vacation, like on what I really need as a
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, okay, like you need to go back, like you need to do that for like a month and not just like a day and a half.
Well,
And
are you and Dan taking time off after the wedding?
I am not doing anything from the Wednesday before to the Wednesday after, technically, but not really.
So you have a week off?
So really, I we also just like decided that the Monday after the wedding, we're gonna go like on a hike up by like where we're getting married.
Yeah.
So which will be good. But I'm only taking like a couple of days. I think that I'm gonna try like in the new year. We'll
To take a
decide. But
vacation?
that was like, so if I seem super space cadetty today while we're talking, friends, I apologize. Um,
It's great.
but that's where I don't know. I just like can't. I don't
Can't.
know.
Okay.
And
It's
I've been like
fine.
randomly feeling like I need to cry. Like I feel like I'm gonna cry right
Oh my
now.
God. Are you
I don't
like
know what's going on.
not
I
to
really
like
don't know what's
are you
going on.
PMSing? Like
I honestly could be, but I don't really, because I don't really get mine because of the IUD that I have, which is
ah.
really great. But I just
Mm-hmm.
feel a little all over the place. So anyway, back to this would
Okay.
she rather situation.
Yeah. So shout out to Monica again. Me and Monica got real pissed in the back.
Wait, no, these two were yelling.
Yeah, I was like,
They were
this is
yelling.
wrong. Even
I'm
Sam was like, really? Like, I feel like Sam and
Here's
Alyssa were like, are you serious?
my issue with these would she rather situations. So let me give you a preface to this. Me and my mom go to like the appointment that we have for my dress having to get like bustled, like how many buttons they're gonna put on my train.
Yeah.
And um my mother wanted so much of this entire occasion to be a surprise and like didn't want to tell me things. So
Mm-hmm.
super casually, as we're like waiting to leave, she like pulls this out of her, guys, this is, for those of you who are not, like, this is like a booklet of
It's
like
actually I
games.
I commend this because like this is very I was supposed to get like 5 pieces of paper,
Yeah, it's like this cute little, well, I
little
have a shit
booklet.
ton of them extra for some reason if you want the
Okay.
rest of them.
Why would I want? Okay.
I don't know. Anybody wants the rest of them, hit me up. And she like really nonchalantly like passes this to me and goes, "Fill this out." And
Yeah.
I was like trying to ask her questions. She's like, "No." She's like, "Just fill this out." So here's the issue for me. So for those of you who
Sure.
can't see what we're talking about, it's like a would she rather game, and it's got a bunch of options.
Let's
I
go one
am
by
not.
one because I'm
Well,
mad.
let me tell you this. I am not a person who I mean, I don't know if this is a good thing. I guess I would say that I like this about myself. I don't think that I'm a very typical person where you're going to like unless it's like certain things that are very obvious for me, but like it
Yeah.
very much depends on your mood.
No, I
It
agree.
depends on my mood. So,
Apparently, your mood whenever I'm around is wrong.
well, it's not that it's wrong, it's just that whatever I was thinking. And let me tell you, while I'm sitting there trying to fill this out, I'm like getting frustrated because I hate having to just pick one thing because I think that there are parts of me that go both ways.
Okay.
That was a very funny statement, but I mean that's fine. Um, so I don't really know, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Please make
Okay.
your peace with this because you're gonna be over. So you and Monica were scoffing the
Well, me
entire
and
thing.
Monica in the background, in the back table, literally the very back, the farthest from Brittany, probably. We're just yelling. We're like,
So
because we
unfunny.
got the first 3 wrong, and we were like, "Are you serious right now?" It was okay. So the first one is watch a movie or read a book. I picked read a book,
So
and
let me
that
tell
was
you.
wrong. And
Let me tell
from
you.
everyone that's listening, every other week,
Everybody else also picked watch a book and got really mad when
watch a
it was
book,
sorry,
watch a book.
read a book and got mad when it was watch a movie. But let me tell you where I was when I answered this. I like it really depends. It depends on my mood, guys. Like there yesterday when I woke up from sleeping and it was 6:30 and I was like, I don't want to do life right now. I 100% wanted to watch a movie.
Okay, fair.
But if I'm in like a good head, like on a general day, like I don't know. I want to do
The
both, and I
whole
couldn't. And the thing is, and this is what I said to my mother. That was the first question, and I said to her, I was like, I want to circle both, and she goes, you can't circle both. And
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
not fair.
well, I don't know.
Great, yeah, the whole room was really thrown off by the
And
first
then you
one.
want to know the other issue too is that I was like, well, you in my body and soul, I would rather be reading a book. Yes. But then I was like, well, you don't always choose. Like, if you choose between the two, you might choose to watch a movie. And then I was like, Brittany, you can't pick read a book and be like this fake person that makes it seem like you're always reading a book. But the reality of this is my own detriment to my own detriment. The truth is that over like compared to the most general norms
Yeah,
of people,
yeah.
you will see me reading more than the average person and I do choose to read a lot. So read a book is right, but watch a movie is also right.
Okay, so yeah, that was the first one. Clearly,
Which is
everyone was
the
mad
worst.
about
So
it,
obviously everything just went downhill from here because that was the worst possible first question.
and I was like, "Are you serious?" And then the second one was wear high heels or wear sneakers. I put sneakers.
But also it's situational because every day when I'm walking around and doing life, I choose to wear my sneakers because they're comfy as hell. But if
Fair
I'm
enough.
going out and I want to do something and I want to feel fancy, I'm gonna wear heels.
Yeah, so me and Monica again were like, "Are you serious?"
So this is what I said. I told my mother I said to her that these were the
It was a
worst
whole. It
possible
was
questions for me
very
to ask
controversial.
because
Very controversial in the room.
they should have been write-in ones that we could have wrote in like because if it would have been like oh would Brittany rather like I don't know a
Oh
million things go to the beach
God.
or go to the like well I guess that kind of comes in here but not really but
Yeah,
I don't know like what would she rather eat like those are the kinds of like they should have been fill in the blank questions instead of like this or that.
I feel like that just would. I don't know if I don't know. Well,
Like it should have
anyways,
been like a like the Mad Lib on the next page should have been like a fill in the blank about Brittany. Like you'd
uh,
most likely find her doing this on a Sunday. Like
I guess.
you know
Well,
what I mean? But
yeah,
whatever.
sure.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
So, me and Monica did not get the first two. I don't think Christina did either. Honestly, I think we were all
I don't think anybody got
same
the
boat.
first two right.
The third one is cook dinner, eat out. I literally put eat out, and she was like cook dinner. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
I would rather cook dinner. Do I always have time to cook dinner? No.
Dan cooks dinner.
Dan cooks dinner, and then it's even better.
Yeah. So, 0 3. I did get the next one right. Me and Monica at this point was like, if she picks coffee, I'm leaving. We were like, I'm leaving. So it was either drink coffee or drink tea. I put tea and that was right. Thank
Guys, I
God.
start out every morning with a cup of tea. Every
Yeah.
morning.
Oh, coffee doesn't sit right with you, doesn't it?
Not at that time and not in the morning. It doesn't. Mm-mm.
Yeah. This one I should have known, and I don't know why I picked beach when I knew go camping would have been the right answer.
I can't. I can't. I don't know. Me and the beach. Like I like the beach, and me and the ocean. I'm all for the ocean, but I 100% would rather be like at a lake or like a river or
Yeah,
a
and like
waterfall and be
literally the
outside.
episode before was like your like dream home was like in the middle of the woods or something, and
Yeah.
I was like, why did I pick beach? So that was my bad.
But it also, yeah, it's cool. It's whatever. It is what it is. I can't handle sand anymore, so
Fair enough. I don't like the sand. It just freaks me
it's,
out.
yeah, same.
Um,
I like
oh, and
what you do at the beach. I like going and laying and relaxing
I
at the
like the
beach.
board walk. I don't want to be on the beach
I don't even like that anymore. I just like, but like
for like
what
five
you
minutes. I
do
don't want to be
at
there the
the
whole time.
beach, I
Yeah.
want to do at a lake and
Oh, I mean,
be
lakes
left
are
alone.
better than, yeah. Oh,
I
that's
don't really
fair.
go in the water. And all of the
I don't
activities
like the
that you do
water.
in the water, I'd rather do at the lake, like going kayaking, going paddle boarding,
Mm-hmm.
doing like the little paddle boats, and like I
Yeah,
don't
I
go
don't.
surfing or do any of that stuff in the ocean.
No.
So
Yeah.
camping.
So that was my fault. I picked the wrong one for some reason. Own a dog or a cat. I picked cat, and then again, same thing with Monica. If if this was wrong, I would have left here too.
No, then I would have definitely been like, guys, I'm lying.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have.
So own a cat. Live in the city or live in the country. I put live in the country, so that was right.
And a lot of people were wrong and
Very
like
surprised.
surprised by that.
I was
Um,
very surprised that people were surprised.
I'm very open about it's taken some time, but I've
Mm,
gotten to be very open about my dislike of like very populated areas.
yeah, no, that's fair. Um, which bleeds into like the next one: go out or stay in. I put stay in, and a lot of people were like mad about these next like two, like these like three
Because
from.
a lot of people this is the thing. So
They
many
don't know you
people
now, probably.
so many people let's be real, right? With COVID have I've had the biggest transformation. I don't want to say maturing because I feel like that word doesn't like necessarily hit it, but like I've
Mm-hmm.
had the biggest self realizations over the past 5 years. And
Mm-hmm.
the reality of what's happened with COVID versus like what's been going on in my life with my life with my dad, like
Mm-hmm.
people people sometimes see you in very specific settings and they might not know you that way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the things that I would choose to do on a daily option versus the person that you see out in the world.
Right. Right. So yeah, the whole room
Yeah, there was some
freaked out.
controversy. Yeah.
Especially with the I think stay up late or get up early. I was like, all right, this is easy. It's get up early. But then a lot of people on other tables were like, are you serious? And I was like,
Yeah.
this one knocks out at like 10 p.m.
And
Like,
but that's the thing too, right? A lot of people have back, 5 or 6 years ago
mhm,
when we were in our early 20s, I was out. Like I was happy to be going
yeah,
out and doing stuff. And I will
during
tell you
college and
too
stuff.
that
Yeah.
like Dan is a night person. So if I ever have to go out and do stuff with Dan, like I'll be out and I'm fine with that. But like if
Hmm.
I get to really choose what I want to do, I'm getting up early.
Yeah.
So,
So that I got those three right.
hmm.
To no surprise on my part. A lot of surprise in the other people's parts.
Yeah, but you know me in a way that a lot of people don't see me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So the next one I got wrong. It was wear her hair up or down. I put up. Probably because like just
But
practicality.
right, this is life, guys. This is where it gets hard. And I told my mother, I was like, none of like these are both right and both wrong. Because if
And your
I'm
mom
gonna
was probably having a fit with you. She was
yeah,
probably
she was
Brittany,
not
come
happy.
on now.
She was
Yeah.
not happy that this game was played and that I made it as difficult as I made it for everybody. But I'm
It was
not
the
an
first game that was played too.
guys. I'm a complicated. Like people are complicated, and I'm well aware of the fact that I'm complicated. It's not that easy to know. I don't. I think it's good that I'm. This game just proves that I'm not a predictable person, which means goals right there. But like, if I'm going to work or I have to do something, my hair's up.
Yeah. Just
Like, if I have
practicality.
to like boss shit, my hair goes up. And if
Mm-hmm.
if I want to go out and I want to my hair is down.
Yeah. So I
I
got that
wear my
wrong.
hair as an accessory. Otherwise,
Okay.
otherwise it's back.
Yeah. So the next one is eat chocolate or eat candy. I put chocolate. I just had a hunch.
Yeah,
So
I
that
don't
was
like.
right.
You're never gonna. Me and Dan are opposite in this way, which is great when the like
When
Halloween comes
Halloween
around
comes around. Yeah.
because he eats all of the like the gummy worms and the jelly things and like he
Mm,
loves all of that and like I'm like okay, give me all the chocolate.
okay, fair.
I'm a chocolate person. Dark
And
chocolate, the
then
best kind of chocolate.
I agree. And then the last one was watch a horror movie or a comedy. I put comedy.
No one in the room should have gotten that one wrong. That one is like the most predictable one. I'm very outright about my disdain for scary things.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like no one had an issue with that one. So yeah, out of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I got 7 right, which isn't bad.
no. But as like I said, I don't think that these are not options that are all like very evident. I feel like I'm more complicated than this. I think it's just a good thing than this piece of paper is.
Yeah,
You
that
want
was
to know what
all.
this tells you? That I'm not basic. That's what this tells you.
Yeah, yeah,
Not a basic bitch.
sure. um, so yeah, so that was my one piece of, I don't know, or one topic I wanted to go over because this wasn't in
Maria was
contention.
mad and Monica was mad. So Monica, when you
Me
go
and
back
Michael
and
were
listen,
pissed.
when you go back and listen to this, I hope that this justifies everything. And I tried to explain to everybody like it's I don't think it's my indecisiveness. I really do. I it depends on my mood. It
Yeah.
depends on my mood, guys.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it was great. I like that venue. Your mom was
Oh,
adorable.
she is very cute and she's like I'm so happy that she's enjoying the process. Like Dan and I,
Yeah.
we had so much stuff to do this week. We went to visit our florist and we went to go get like our wedding bands and my mom came to all those things and I think I'm just happy that she's like so excited and
Yeah.
um
That's all you can ask
yeah.
for.
Yeah, I got a good mama.
Yeah. Um. Anything else? I can't think of anything.
There
I've
was the
just
other
been
thing that
moving.
we were going to talk about
What
that
were
I
we supposed to talk
texted
about?
you. Did you
Oh
see that?
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
30,000 so let me
yeah. Oh
give you
my
guys some
god, let me
insight.
scroll.
Um I know we're so not going to have like time to have a full on conversation about this. So I've been listening. I'm a really 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 big fan of Brene Brown.
Yes,
If you
correct.
guys aren't familiar with her,
Uh,
she
I don't know if people can see this, but literally
guys, I
it
sent
went
her.
on.
This is me doing text to speech while I'm driving to work to school in the morning.
Oh,
Like
this was text to speech.
these are the
It's
existential
literally
crises that I
four.
have when I'm driving to work at 6:20 in the morning before I go teach a bunch of students. So
Oh damn, it was that early.
yeah,
Holy
it was that
shit.
early.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So for those of you who don't know who Brene Brown is, the way that she like emerged into the world of like pop culture world really was she did a TED talk about shame and it became like one of those like righty like they draw the dry erase writing
Hmm.
stories whatever.
Yeah.
She's a shame and vulnerability researcher which is like two of my biggest issues. So when I first started working, well, trying to understand myself better, she was one of the first people that I came across, and her book "Daring Greatly" that I literally talk about all the freaking time, was one of the first books that I read about like that topic. And she's read a bunch of other books, and I've listened to a lot of them.
Hmm.
And she started in 2020. She started a podcast called Unlocking Us.
I didn't know she had a podcast.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Okay, cool, cool. Good to know.
um, and one of the I listen to it my drive in the morning. I need something to I really used to like listening to like morning shows and things like that. But I found that if I like listen to something that's a little bit more like on a deeper level, it like
Hmm.
keeps me calmer throughout the day, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, if I tap into that part of my brain earlier on, like I can
You don't have to deal with it later on.
yeah, and I guess I noticed the days that I've been doing and listening to this podcast specifically, I feel better, which is
You
I
probably
don't know.
feel more fulfilled.
I have like cathartic moments like the one
Hmm.
that I had when I was texting you.
Yeah.
So I don't remember anything that I said in any of
Oh
those
god.
messages because that was like 3 weeks ago, and I've listened to a million more episodes since then. The first thing I'd like everyone to know is that I wrote, "There is no need to respond to this text" at the
And I
top.
am glad that literally I feel like all my close friends are that way when they text me before 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
Literally the question though is do you remember the first time we recorded an episode? I'm assuming that
yeah,
says an episode, not in episode, and the whole
yes,
process of us going through wanting to do this.
yeah, yes. So okay, what do
Um,
you remember about it?
do I remember? I think we just did it. I had no thoughts, honestly, because I just felt like you want to do it for so long. I was like, all right, you just tell me when I hit record. I had
Yeah.
no qualms,
We've
honestly.
talked about like first time experiences because we talked about it a little bit when we
Yeah,
talked about our episode. I don't know what number episode it was, but we talked about like
I don't
driving.
remember.
Um,
Yeah.
but the the podcast that I was listening to was about FFTs, in which she deems FFTs as like fucking
Oh,
first times.
I was like, what the fuck is an FFT?
FFTs are this
Yeah.
is literally the first episode of the podcast that I listened to. So it's like she calls them FFTs. They're fucking first times. Um, she was talking about how like when we experience first time things for a while, we become like very vulnerable and unsure, and it can like mess with us emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this realization, even though it's exciting, I had this realization that like the way that my life works and the way that my schedules work, I'm in similar settings a lot of the times, but it's always on like here's a perfect example, right? I'm starting a new show, right? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
work on a new show. I have new shows to work on. I
Yeah.
have new clients. I have new workshops. I have all these new things that I'm going to be doing, right? And this is like
Mm-hmm.
the cycle of my life. I'm always working on a new thing every year.
Yeah.
And that puts me in a fucking first time experience every time.
Constantly.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
constantly am going through these first time experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, being in like those like uncertain this is what I wrote down, guys, because I'm not even gonna try to blah blah blah. This morning I'm thinking a lot about the first time things and being a new experiences and my connection to them. And I'm connecting it to my understanding of expectations. So like when you go into something new and you have expectations for it, it can be like a very anxiety inducing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thinking about how I respond, and I'm realizing that my life is full of first time experiences when I'm constantly changing what I'm doing and going through seasons of different activities that I do. But first time experiences is a trigger for me because it kickstarts my anxiety.
Yeah, because you
And
don't know
because of
where you're
that,
getting into it.
it makes me
Yeah.
a little unstable and uncomfortable. And I
Mm-hmm.
constantly do that to myself.
Which is not a good thing.
So, and then here, wait, we're doing this more. Ready?
Yeah,
Then I
keep
feel
going.
excited about the new experiences and set expectations, but I can be unrealistic and then up just getting angry and frustrated when I don't meet those unrealistic expectations. So, I wanted to discuss first time experiences and being able to cope with them and setting realistic expectations on the journey that I'm going through in doing that, along with getting all of the perspective on first time experiences and new things and our emotional response to them and how we cope with them. This is me at 6:30 in the morning,
Literally,
everybody. This is
I'm
why
not
I'm a
conscious yet. I'm
this is
literally
why
not even
I'm a
conscious.
morning person because this is why I do what I do in my morning drives and I listen to this deeper stuff because what other time of my day do I have to do this?
I mean, granted, I'm a night person, so mine is 1 a.m. So I get it.
But my brain, I can't be on for that time. Like
Well, no,
I
either
come
the both of
home and
us
I'm like
doing this like this is not healthy. The
no.
first thing and the last thing at night, or like the first thing in the morning, last
No.
thing, yeah, probably not
So
the best thing.
I was going through all of this and the podcast she was talking about like how we cope with first time experiences and our expectations and I was like no wonder why I'm always like this is
Well,
why I went
because
down the path that I went through in my life where I was always anxious and it led me to
yeah,
depression. Like this is what like it was
well, because people need a routine, right? Like, I mean, I feel like we're such a like routine species or animals or whatever that like if you throw yourself off of a routine like your body did, like when you went camping, like it's gonna throw you into a loop.
it does. And it's this
Hmm.
hard thing like I need to make myself more comfortable at being in a state of just being where I am.
But I feel like you're just so like you're not satisfied.
Mm-mm.
You're just that's why it's just like
And it's so dangerous. This is
which
like
is yeah.
the overachiever, and it's not even. I don't even want to say it like an overachiever because then makes me
No,
like
I think
come
you're
off as
just
like
not
a
satisfied.
better than like, and I don't think that at all. It's just I have so much like energy and passion for life that I
Yeah.
feel like if I'm not doing something, I'm missing out on that.
Have
And
you ever
it's
taken a vacation?
well, there is. So you're gonna laugh. So I was working with my with one of the people that I work with for my business and like we're getting into like working together in a new year and she made me fill out this like form to be like, all right, let's see where you are and like and she was like, when was the last time you took a vacation? Like in the last year, how many days off have you had? And I filled it out right after we went on the bachelorette weekend. And I was like, I'm pretty sure the last 3 days were the first active, like 3 days off that I've had. Because the way that my life works is like, I might have, like today, I have the rest of the day after we're done. And it's only like 1 o'clock right now, guys. But I saw clients this morning. So, like,
But like
and I
you're
don't,
still working.
I know. So it doesn't count as
It
like
doesn't
a day
count.
off,
Yeah, it doesn't count.
which
I
I'm
don't think you know
realizing.
how to do that, which is
I don't
unhealthy.
think I know how to do that
Which
either.
bleeds into the whole first, experience
We're
thing.
unpacking everything. I hope this is relatable to some of you and that I don't just come off like a complete psychopath. But anyway, here's the next thing that I said to Maria.
Oh yeah,
We
let's keep
all
going.
experience new things all the time, and it's a huge part of the way we need to grow in life because if we're not growing, we're dying. Being able and
Okay.
this is a thing too. I think that I've become so attached to I want to make the most of this life and I want to develop myself that growth mindset, you always have to be in a place that's constantly slightly uncomfortable if you're going to grow, which is also dangerous because I'm like excessively doing it. Anyway, being able to successfully walk through life and those new experiences requires us to acknowledge the emotions that we're feeling in those moments and to cope with them properly, something we all don't know how to do well enough. My hand is raised. And because we're all we're all experienced we're all experiencing this all the time. We need to normalize the scare. It says ship. We need to normalize the scary shit we feel when we're doing something new. Ugh, ugh. And like
Yeah.
that part was just like the
Aha moment.
and like the. I used to walk into situations, and teaching was a perfect experience with this. I used to walk into situations and be like, I know what I'm doing. And on the inside, my
No, you
little
don't.
monster's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
And
it's like
now
terrifying.
I very openly walk into new experiences. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but we're going to try the best we can.
Yeah, which is, a healthier way of coping,
Right.
if
But we
you
don't
will.
talk about that.
Well, yeah, I
Right.
mean, honestly, adulting, no one knows what the hell they're doing. I mean, like, movies, TV shows, and whatnot, like, deem adulting very easy once you get into a routine. It's very hard. So no one knows what the hell they're doing.
The anxiety that I get into, like, everything, every type of experience that I've ever had where it's turned out to be like a confrontation or a
Yeah.
negative experience or something to that extent is first triggered by I'm feeling something that I don't normally feel, right? This is some type of new emotional experience. And I don't know how to cope with the feelings or name the feelings or address the feelings that I'm having to like survive, right? That fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to turn my anxiety up all the way and get super defensive and not address it so that I can survive this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And every possible moment where I feel like ugh about it afterwards, I feel like shit about it afterwards, stems from my anxiety. And because that's my initial response to the situation is to feel anxious. And I've been thinking about it with like any of like the conflicts that like Dan, like the arguments or
Mm-hmm.
like disagreements that Dan and I get into. We both get anxious, but we respond to it in different ways.
Yeah, that's I'm sure.
And then that is what it's not the issue anymore. It's the anxiety becomes the issue. And not enough of us are taught like how to,
Deal with anxiety.
okay, or not even that, to just recognize that it's anxiety.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, any negative um emotion or whatever isn't really taught how to, we don't
No,
get
and
taught how to deal with.
most of the emotions, anything that follows is anxiety first, so much of the time. It's like your
For
body
I mean,
processing it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like we as mentally unstable people feel it worse than like the mentally stable people. But yeah, they get anxious. But like, I think that they just think that that's normal. That amount of anxiety is probably normal. We just go the 10th degree.
Yeah. I don't believe that there's anything I no longer believe that there's such a thing as an emotionally stable person.
No, I mean, no, it's very rare if there are people. But I
The
mean,
only type of
yeah,
person who could be emotionally stable all the time is somebody who's never in a situation where they're doing something new and growing.
cis hetero male, white. Sorry, cis hetero white males.
I have nothing to say to that. um, but I like, but yeah, and then that's when the ego develops uncontrollably because there's no anxiety or anything there to reel it back in.
Mm-hmm. It's like a god complex at that point.
That's so sad. But the next thing that I wrote, the last part that I wrote, I'm sure there was so much more to this that I wanted to say, but like I said, I'm not like
Yeah,
attached to the feels of it anymore.
that's fine.
So this will be relevant for you. So I said, I think that we can also relate this topic to conversations we've had about
Yeah, I don't know what that word is.
taking into contact. I don't know about what our relationship with television, right? Like, no, it's definitely new content, taking in new content with TV, and like
That's
the
what that word was.
I'm guessing deeming or where that comes from. I don't know the
I don't
meaning,
know.
where the
Meaning
meaning where that
probably
comes from.
mean yeah.
Okay, so the lack of safety we can feel and the instability of having a new experience, and when that discomfort and lack of safety is strong enough, it can stop us from even wanting to experiencing something new and completely safe, like watching TV.
Oh yeah, that's very common in people that have anxiety. Is that I mean I do it all the time, which is
This
why
is
I
why I brought it up, and I
like
know that.
if you're
Go
not
ahead.
willing to, or if your brain doesn't have the capacity to house new information or even have new feelings about a new show, you're not I can't
And
physically start a new show or even continue Schitt's Creek. I've been trying to
it's
finish Schitt's
oh
Creek
rough.
for like
That gets rough. Ugh.
months because like I just can't physically attach myself to a new
But
set of
it's
characters.
so it just goes to show you how minute the impact is and how disgusting of a jump anxiety can take you, right? Like,
Oh
so
yeah, 100%.
rephrasing the nonsense that I texted is like, so if you're a person who feels so much anxiety stepping into a new situation, right, in a new real life experience, that if it gets to the point where that, and because you feel unsafe because there's a lack of security, right? There's a lack
Hmm.
of knowing what's going on. There's like triggers for your anxiety. When you start to feel that, you need something to hold on to, right? And then
Yeah,
you, instead of being able to cope with the new feelings, and when that you get so good at doing that, you can start to like unconsciously limit yourself from completely safe experiences that are new because you are afraid of having to cope with that transition. Something
yeah,
like watching TV and taking in a new show and addressing new content
it's
and
terrifying to me right
dealing
now.
with new characters can feel unsafe.
Yeah,
And that
100%.
is
Just
what? Like
textbooks
that
anxiety
blows
disorder.
my
It's just textbooks
mind.
anxiety disorder.
And it's so many things that we
Uh huh.
these are like these are minor signs and triggers like
And
that
it's
happen
like,
in our life every single day, and we
mm-hmm,
talk so much more, I'll say. We talk so much more about like anxiety and like the physical signs of it. I know that like in the schools that I've worked in before, there have been workshops and things talking to kids about like what it feels like when you get anxious. But
mm-hmm,
what we're not addressing is the what's going on behind why you're getting anxious and why these episodes are developing. Like
right.
you shouldn't just be dealing with what happens on the other side of the hill once you get to the top and you're having an anxiety attack. We should be dealing with the fact that you're getting up there because you're feeling things that you don't know how to cope with.
Yeah, healthfully.
And right. And that's what's triggering you to go into like that living in anxiety. And
Right.
it's funny because I feel like I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I was listening to, I feel like something else that was probably Brene Brown.
Probably at this point.
And they were talking about how out of, there are like thousands of emotions
Mm-hmm.
that we feel. But as humans, most adults only know how to express like 4 or 5 of them.
That makes
So
sense.
like the gamut is like this big, and we're functioning at like 3%.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's funny because you remember that movie that came out with Scarlett Johansson about her like saying how she was able to access more than like 10% of her mental capacity.
Oh yeah.
Do you
Oh,
remember that
God, I don't
movie?
remember what it's called, but I know of that movie. I've never watched it.
Like there's a, I don't remember what this is called, but there's like a theory to it, and it's not about us being able to like that 10% that we're accessing and what we're missing in the 100% doesn't necessarily have anything to do with like our like physical mental capabilities, or like
Mm-hmm.
it has everything to do with our emotional intelligence.
Right.
Like we're
That makes
missing
sense.
all of that in our emotional intelligence. And the reason, guys, and I'll sum up with this, the reason why I love Brene Brown and her vulnerability research is that there's a quote that she, oh my gosh, I have to share this with you. There's a quote that she has that I listened to, and it literally just took my entire breath away. Ready?
Sure.
So, the
You have it
most,
on hand?
oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
the most courageous among us will be brokenhearted because they have the courage to love. The most engaged among us will know disappointment because they have the courage to care. and the most creative and innovative among us will fail because they have the courage to try. Like what the like the most human among the people who choose to be human, the people who choose to live the most
Yeah.
are the people who experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Hmm.
But like, what's the point otherwise?
That reminds me. So there's a quote from Maya Angelou
Love her.
that I saw. What? So when I went to therapy, it was like the first thing I saw. So when I went to therapy, I went in person pre-COVID, and every room was like a different author.
That's
And they
cool.
brought me to like the Maya Angelou room, and it was like her butterfly quote. Hold on, let me just Google it real
I don't
quick.
remember it off the top of my head either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it just like it's like very similar. It's like, oh, here it is. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty.
And we talked about this in a previous episode when I talked about the butterfly, like what really happens to a butterfly when it's in its chrysalis and how it literally becomes like molten goo.
Uh, yeah,
Right. Like,
yeah, but like in a similar sense, it's like I don't know. People just go through like all this like changes that you don't see, period, right? And then you don't even talk about it, but then all of a sudden you're having like anxiety disorders from all these changes that you can't even cope with
right. That's my issue.
healthily.
That's my issue with humans these days is that we try so hard to protect ourselves from the things that we see as weaknesses, right? We say that feeling things is a weakness. So we try to protect ourselves from it. And instead of protecting ourselves from it, the way that you protect yourself from it is by actually learning how to fucking cope with those emotions. We instead
Mad
of
about it.
doing I am mad about it. Instead of doing that, we try to brush them under the rug and don't realize how those monsters get bigger and how we're actually
Well,
literally attacking ourselves by trying to cover things up in a way that's much more damaging than if we would just actually address the issues and cope with them. That whole thing, that is how COVID is COVID. That is how our country is the like I
yep.
don't even know what word to put in there. It is so frustrating having a sense of awareness. And this is why I'm exhausted, friends. I wish that I was a person who
Yeah.
was capable of putting a shield on stopping my like my empathy and like my I wish I didn't know any better. I wish I was ignorant. I really, really wish I was ignorant. I wish I was emotionally ignorant. I wish I lacked intelligence and the capability of being aware of myself and other people, but I don't. And it fucking sucks
So
because
again,
it's hard.
so again, you want to be a cis hetero white male in upper
For
middle
real.
class, upper middle class cis hetero white male. It's hard. It's going back to just like your first experience situation, that whole like anxiety inducing thing. I just feel like a very simple way to be like healthily cope with things if you're dealing with any of this is like to have a routine, like a stable
But then
routine.
but think about that though, right? If you have a consistent routine and
Yeah.
you're not bringing any change into your life, then where's your growth?
I'm not saying that you have to like I'm not like I have a routine.
You're talking
It's a
about like a
very
physical
convoluted. Yes,
like
just yeah, like here's my hours of work, not a 10 to 6. It doesn't matter if I'm working my job or if it's this. Like here's work, and then afterwards here's like my like a personal time, and then my sleep. It's very just like I'm not saying you have to work on like I'm not saying don't grow. I'm just saying like you need to have like your body needs to have some sort of routine or else it's going to be like what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. Yeah. No, I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. And I think that's where we get lost, right? We get lost in the fact of like having a routine is not just
I'm
this
not
is my
yeah.
scheduled time for work and this is my scheduled time for life because then it's still not you need to fill in that more because people
Yeah,
don't actively fill in those two very large circles and then they blink and 40 years later and they're like, "Oh my god, I've been doing the exact same thing for the past 40 years of my life."
but also what if they're just happy doing the same thing for 40 years of
You're
their life?
allowed to be happy doing. I mean, go
Yeah.
for it. You're allowed to be happy doing that. But
I just
I'm
feel like
seeing
you
it
are
from
not
no,
happy
I'm seeing
doing
it from
that.
my perspective and
I am happy being
I
in
could
this
never.
job. Oh, that's what
I
I was
but
like.
it's
I
not
have a
even that.
bunch
Like
of friends. No, no.
jobs
Here's the thing.
aside.
Here's the thing. I have a bunch of friends that like move job to job, which is very common.
I couldn't do that either though.
Me too. I can't. I'm one of those that
It's
are like for
stressful.
lifers because it's very stressful for me to just change up and change and be in a new environment. Like moving was a big thing because like it took me years to finally be like, all right, I'll just go whatever. So I'm coping with this, which is why I physically am watching Harry Potter every night because I physically can't take on new information.
We are so opposite in a way because I love new things.
Yeah, so
Love new
right. Like so there are people that change and have no qualms of changing like their environments and like growing in that way, but I find fulfillment and growth within the similar situations I've been doing, you know? So
things.
I
So
mean,
different.
yeah, exactly. So like I
So different.
there are things in your routine that you can change minutely that will
Right.
enable you to grow. But I just feel like as humans, I feel like we just need routines, which is what I learned in therapy. Apparently, is what we
I
need.
get that. I get that. That was a big part of something like that was a big part of it for me too in having a routine. But there are certain things in my routine like that are sacred routines to me, and then there are other
Mm-hmm.
things that I have to be more flexible with. It makes me so frustrated because I don't think that we and the reason why I get so like angsty about this is because we don't realize like it's just so sad that we don't realize how we're killing ourselves, and then I see it in like 10 and 11-year olds
How they're
and
already anxious beings.
the anxiety things that I was dealing with as an early 20-year-old, like they're decades younger and are already taking on and don't know how to deal with it. And
Yeah, I mean, the human race isn't looking too pretty.
watching, there is nothing more dismantling of you as a being than watching like anyone anyone ever, but especially like a child
You go through that?
experience like a panic attack
Oh, I
or
mean, yeah,
have
it's
literal
not.
paralyzation from and this is disgusting, right? The thoughts in your head can paralyze you.
Oh, all the time.
And like
The people that know
watching
me, yeah,
a
all the time.
child go through that experience to where it physically manifests in their body is painful
Hmm.
in a way that I just it disrupts you as a person. It really
It's just a
does.
byproduct of like how kids are raised now.
But this is why I get mad because nothing is changing. And then I'm being expected to bring a child into this.
But also, it sucks that uh, I it could just be a country thing, like America,
Oh, it is a country.
America's children. I mean, yeah, I agree. It is, but it's the internet has really just broken
I know.
us,
I know.
unfortunately. Um, Especially social media, which is why I'm off of Instagram. I'm only on maybe like once a week because like I just can't physically do it. That's also a thing that like with anxiety
Oh, yeah.
inducing things, like you have to train yourself to figure out what your triggers are. And then
Mm-hmm.
if it's a social
Which is
media,
your
you have to figure out,
hardest thing to
yeah.
have to
Like so
master.
and it's like, like I don't not like Instagram has been a big thing of my life, but like it is one of these random minute triggers, just like starting a new TV show,
Mm.
that like I have to like notice that that's not good for me health wise. And like with like kids though, like they're they don't know. Period.
It's so funny because my supervisor made a comment about how to all of our like students was saying how like he's like I have a growing disdain for social media
Oh yeah,
because
me too.
the place the place that it has and the way that we use it are
So
so far
disconnected.
from one another.
Yeah.
And he went on like a little rant with the kids about like how we should use it and all of this stuff. But I agree. And I think that's why one of the biggest things that's pulling me to shift to like, I want to be out in nature. I want to go camping. I want to
Hmm.
go hiking. I want to do all of this in such a strong way is that the last year we've had to rely on technology. And I'm at a point now where I do not want to look at my phone or my computer. And it's bad because first of all, you can't run a business like that. And I'm getting to a point where I am getting so technologically strung out and mind you, I
Yeah.
spent my entire summer not really having to look at technology, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but I I'm hitting a point where I feel like I literally can't do it anymore. Like
Technology?
I feel myself
Yeah.
getting to
So
that
then,
point. This is all, guys, these are all signs that like I need a vacation. And when I say I
yeah,
need a
you're so burnt
vacation,
out.
I need
You
I
need
need to
a
like go on like an eat pray love situation just to make it like realistic for like relative to people. And it's not even like a burnout situation, but this I have this feeling
it
inside
is a
of
burnout
me
situation. Spoiler
that,
alert.
but it's not, I like, even when I do, I like the 3 days that I didn't really have to look at technology were amazing. And when I came back to it, I wasn't like, yeah, like I can do this, it's fine. I
Yeah,
still,
because you're burnt out.
okay, maybe it is a burnout situation, but over the last like 5 years, I've had this growing, like, I don't
Disdain.
even know how to explain it inside of me that tells me like I if a flushing toilet and a light bulb were the only working technology in the space that I lived in, I would be happy.
So you need to go camping.
I need to go.
I think you just need a vacation. I don't. I just think you need to go fly somewhere.
I just feel like my only concern though, if I really take time to get adapted to a life where like I go away for a week and I really don't have anything, if I
Hmm.
get adapted to that, I'm never gonna come back to this. This is how we know that I was born in the wrong decade. I don't want to live with technology. If I could say that I don't need to like
Get an
I'm not
assistant.
going to be on my phone for a
Get
whole
an
week,
intern. Get an
I would
assistant.
be the happiest. And that's the thing too, right? Everybody's always like, "Oh, well then how do you connect to everybody?" If I don't see
Phone
you and
call.
you're not in my vicinity or we
Text.
can't, no, no. Like literally though, that would be the bad thing though. Like I
Yeah.
would lose contact with everybody,
Oh,
right? Cuz
never.
how else would I do that? If people were not in my vicinity, I wouldn't have them and that would be bad. But I don't want to continue on with what's going to happen in the way that we use technology. I just don't. I really, really don't. And it's bad.
So
It's
then get
so
off
bad.
of the internet.
But I can't because I have businesses. It's, see, like it doesn't,
Just go on when you need to do stuff and log off and turn off your phone afterwards.
and that's what I'm starting to do.
Okay. And if someone needs to get in contact with you, everyone knows where Dan is. Like online. Like
Oh yeah, well that's why everybody gets mad at me, and Maria literally just yelled at me not too long ago about this. It's like that's why I don't, my phone is not on at night, guys. Like don't try to call me if there's a major emergency, like you know where I live. Think about back in the olden days when no one had phones.
what did you
Like
do? Call them. Yeah.
shit happened, you found out about it. Like something happens, you know where I am, you know how to get in touch with me, you call Dan if you need to. But
Yeah.
I could you imagine what I would be like if my phone was on all night long?
Um I don't know. What
And
would you
like
be like?
I
Anxious
would be anxious
the whole time?
the whole night.
Okay, well, at least you figured that out and you turned it off.
So the moral of this entire conversation is that Brittany really
So
needs to go on
then
vacation, but I
you need to
have
go on vacation.
I have a month. You right now, everyone, you are listening to and witnessing what COVID has done, like to one person. So imagine an entire world full of people like this right now. But once we get married, it'll be
Because that's one less stressor on you anyway, right? The whole wedding process.
just elope everybody. And then my mother had the godforsaken nerve to me the other day to go into all these meetings. She goes, "Yeah, I would just elope." I
Then isn't that what you wanted to do?
I lit I'm Jesus. I could feel like the blood pump like very
Yeah.
intensely through my chest just now.
But that's your mother's humor. So Brittany needs vacation,
Guys.
and I need the energy to start a new TV show.
So
And
here's what's gonna happen. Brittany's gonna take none of her technology and she's just gonna escape to Maria's house. And because you just
yeah,
moved, no one's gonna know where I am.
yeah, you can come over.
And I'll watch new TV and you can
I I will not be. I'll be in my room while you watch new TV. It's funny though because like, and it's not for me, right? Because some people it's like straight up no new TV, no new movies, no new shows, whatever. For me, it's like for some reason sitcoms. I can't fucking physically finish Schitt's Creek, but I will watch a new murder documentary, like a true crime thing, or like a new movie.
weird.
I can't physically do it. It's like these like it's like the feel good like characters I just can't fucking deal with.
But they're
Oh,
not.
you
Schitt's
would.
Creek is full of like
Oh, it's
sarcastic.
it's funny. I can't do it.
I don't understand you.
Hmm.
That's like
But
what
I'll
I am.
watch like someone get murdered and like the investigation upon it.
Like
So
30 Rock has been saving my life the last
it's
couple
back
weeks.
on Netflix. I saw.
I know. And I'm loving
I
it.
have watched a few seasons. I haven't finished it. So
But no, like
um,
sitcoms and funny haha things that are like escapist are my favorite things to put on TV when I'm like this.
anime or true crime or like Harry Potter. I put on Goblet of Fire. I'm instantly just like, okay,
Yeah, I can't do that because there's so much. There's talk about like emotional things you have to attach to, and then you
yeah,
have to follow the storyline. Like, oh,
yeah. Well, you know,
I just we're weird. People are so weird.
yep.
The best part. So let me tell you how much I love Sam and Alyssa. So the literally the best part of
Oh God.
our time away is we're like sitting outside. We're about to play Jenga. We're drinking some wine. And I don't even know what we were talking about. I'm never going to forget this moment if either of you listen to this. Um, we're talking about something, and they both kind of look at each other and they look back at me, and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we know because you don't know how to say no.
No, no.
And I was like, what? And like I was just like in a moment, like, because these are people I literally have known me my whole life. Like
Hmm.
they're my family. Like Maria is my family, and I was just like, what do you talk like? What do you mean I don't know how to say no? And they were like, well, that's why you have the craziest schedule in the world. Like you don't say no to people.
Yeah. I mean, look, we can say this all we want, but you need the realization that that's what's happening, and
No,
then you
and
can figure
I'm
it
here's the
out.
deal. I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of that, and this is the problem with me being like a person, a person in service to others. Because the work that I do is literally about me being in service to others, and if I feel like if I let that person down or I'm not there for them, I give myself guilt. But it's bullshit because I don't give myself guilt about not giving myself time, but I give myself guilt about not giving my time to other people. So anyway, we're sitting there and we're having this conversation. I'm justifying it to the best way that I possibly can
And
with
they're
what I
like
just started
bullshit.
doing. And they were like, "But this is why. Like this is why." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay,
It's an intervention. They went over there with just you for an
that was an
intervention.
intervention."
Well, I mean, my parting advice is they probably don't feel guilty. Or they probably don't, I mean, not guilty. They probably don't feel bad that you don't have time for them.
Oh no, no, they get it.
Yeah. So
They're
then
like
that's just something that you have to figure out.
they're good. They understand. The people who like stay around are anybody who's ever felt some type of way about me being like,
Too busy.
yeah, me saying something about being busy or like not understanding, they don't stick around because they feel they relate the worth of what I invest in our relationship on the amount of time that I give them.
Right. Right.
And like that it's funny because I as a person value time greatly, which is
Is
why
your
when
like
I'm
is your love language
that's
with
like one of
quality
my love
time?
languages, like quality time. Um but those quality times can be far and few in between, but like I don't need constant attention and affirmation of our relationship. That's not the kind of person I am.
Gotcha.
And
I'm the worst kind.
if anybody that
I'm
I'm friends with feels that way, right? Then that
yeah.
friendship doesn't go on for long I because I value time, right? And then think about it, right?
Yeah.
I am a service person, so people pay for my time. So when
Right.
I value time and quality time the way that I do, and then people
Yeah.
are paying for my time, I put a lot of value on that,
Okay.
which
No,
is
that's
why
fair.
I put them before me, which is not good either, friends.
You need some healthy balance there.
So, but it was just a funny moment. We were having such a good time, and then they just like dropped that on me, and I was like, oh my, okay,
I guess we're dealing with this right now.
okay, it's true.
It's you'll figure it out. Um,
I
but
said something to my kids. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
no,
I'll
you'll
go
figure it
round off
out.
with
But
that.
also like you can't keep doing your first time situations all the
No,
time.
I can't. That's why I'm doing the work that I'm doing to try to like address it right now. I was talking to my all my high school seniors came in and we were like talking about like what are we gonna do and what's your future like, and some of them were like I have no idea, and I was like guys, I have no idea. Like no, you don't have to know anything.
Yeah, you don't have to know anything.
Like you keep
You really don't.
going, you find out what you're interested in, you study it, you divert, you pivot, you keep going, and then at some point, if something clicks for you and you're like, haha, you could be 80. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And one of them was just like sitting there and was like, you just understand life. Like in a really
Yeah.
like
I mean,
existential way. And I was like, no, I don't. But I was like, this is one of the few things that I've had to realize. And I was like, and I didn't know it when I was your age. And I put so much pressure on myself because I didn't understand that when I was your age. And then it
yeah.
led to a lot of shit that sucked after.
Well, I feel like yeah, no, and also I feel like we got the same sentiment from people, just not we clearly didn't listen, or like it wasn't apparent enough to us that they were being serious, the adults in
No
our
one
lives.
ever told me that ever about my life. I was
Oh,
told that
okay.
I had to figure out what I was going to be doing.
Some people did in my life.
I don't remember
But like a majority of
anybody.
them were like, you have to get a job, you have to do this, you have to graduate college, you have to
I
figure out what
remember
you need.
the only person who I feel like was my high school English teacher who was like, "You'll figure
Mm.
it out," and which is why I loved her to death.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, now we're in that situation where we're telling these kids, and I feel like they're believing it more because they're more. That's also a good thing about the internet is that they
they
understand it
see
because
more
it's
of the
yeah.
possibilities.
So like the internet is a powerful tool, obviously, but I
Yeah,
just
when
feel like it's the social media aspect of it is convoluted and like can teach kids otherwise, like other things rather than the good things.
the things they don't need to know. When I
Right.
went to my mom and I went to raise money for Mothers Against Drunk Driving at PNC on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about like a triggering experience of like being in a mask and then being filled like a stadium that's
Oh
filled with
yeah,
a billion drunk people who are not in a mask. Oh my god, oh
I
god.
can only imagine.
We left early. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Good.
But it was just so interesting to. I don't remember where I was even going with this story. What were we just talking about?
I really don't remember. You need a vacation. You're burnt out.
You want to know what the sad part is though? Like the year is just starting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
The year is just starting, and now I'm burnt out,
Hey, it is
which
what it is.
is fucked up. Anyway,
You,
so when you're
yeah.
facing new experiences, friends, the best thing for you to do, says Brene Brown, is to stop and acknowledge the fact that you're facing a new experience, normalize the fact that you're in a new experience, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
then try to see if you can like cope with or handle or grasp one of the things that you're feeling and give yourself some perspective about the expectations you set. So instead of being like, this is going to happen, and it being totally unrealistic and like not plausible, set realistic expectations and then be kind to yourself
Oh
in
yeah,
the
I was gonna say
process.
maybe be kind to yourself and also figure out what your triggers are. That's all. That's my 2 cents. And it could be people. I'm just saying.
In some situations,
It could be people,
for the longest time,
and
my
that's
mother was a
okay.
trigger and I had no idea.
And you know what? That's okay. You just kind of mend that relationship.
Yeah, and then it gets better.
That's
There
all.
is one other person in my life who is still a trigger that I haven't figured out how to cope with yet.
And
But
sometimes, you know what? Maybe you don't need that relationship.
no, you back away.
That's my 2 cents. That's all I got.
Go buy yourself something special.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
All right. Well, next week we were supposed to talk about something else already.
God only knows what is
I
happening.
don't know.
We'll figure it out next week.
Yeah. So, guys, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Take time for yourself this week and then maybe have like a tiny new experience.
Oh my
that
god.
feels that feels that feels palpable for you. That feels possible for you.
I'm like itching just thinking about it.
Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Okay, bye.